It's a new day and the beginning of a new era in American politics. I woke up thinking about how this would positively affect Africa after 4 years of a controversial Donald Trump administration. Still sounding like someone who just woke up in the morning, I reached out to my friend, a lawyer and political analyst.
Father?
Hey, good morning, sir.
Good morning, brother. Anna.
Very fine. Very.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, same to you.
It's 8:15 a.m. on the 21st of January 2021, and we briefly reflect on some events that played out in 2020.
Thank God for you guys tonight to visit. Part of the victims of the hoodlums that hijacked the answers.
I just hope we learn lessons from those events as a nation, because it trickled down and affected individuals, from lockdown to protest, and then jobs lost, and then livelihoods affected. Some haven't even recovered yet.
At this point, let me introduce my guest, Okenna Nnebedum, Managing Attorney, Gavel Law Office in Lagos, Nigeria. He is an enthusiastic believer in the Nigerian dream, devoid of party affiliation. This belief drives his advocacy for good governance. He's been a sought-after political analyst, social commentator, and guest on radio and TV programs across the country.
I want us to just talk about Trump briefly, and then the new day in America right now. What do you think, and what are your thoughts on this America where it is divided, and how things could get better under Joe Biden and the legacy of Trump? Can you share your thoughts?
Okay. My first thoughts are, for example, an indelible mark has been left in the American institution, democratic institution, by the personality of Donald J. Trump. The once unassailable America has been demystified by their own son. And I read part of this farewell speech where he acknowledged, and it is very true, that it is the first time an outsider, in the real sense of it, had to penetrate the White House. He has never been an establishment person. He's been an entrepreneur, but he rose on the crest waves of some changes, and most importantly, his campaign message, which was captured in his America First policy, America for Americans. The Americans bought the idea and had to, jettison the candidacy of the Democrats. Unfortunately, also, like it is typical in every human affairs, that sometimes the occupier of an office has some of his personal idiosyncrasies rub off on that office. And that is how what played out several times, that he had to have some clashes with the status quo. It will go down in history that he has been a person who had been impeached and almost got impeached 10 days or less than 10 days to his exit from power. But be that as it may, the American institutions generally is not the ruffled, even though there has been a punch of hole on the electoral system. That does not mean that it was successfully exposed to ridicule. But there are questions that germane, which Donald J. Trump raised, whether the dust will settle, as it were, with his exit. It used to be told in the upcoming events whether there will be inquiry into such. But in the speech of this president at the moment, Joe Biden said in his speech that he is the president for America and for all Americans. He has a Herculean task to perform, which is uniting the country once again, which has been polarized along racist lines and along religious lines, and also along several unfriendly foreign affairs. The AGOA, the African Growth and Opportunity Act, has been there, but I don't think it received much attention to the benefit of Africa during the 4 years reign of Donald J. Trump, not because of his party's inclinations, but because of his personal charisma. You know, one thing about America is this: it is the highest or the most highly institutionalized democracy. America will have their foreign policy, drive, and it will always become their drive. But the party in power and the person in power determines the speed of the implementation of such drives and policies, but not to change diametrically opposed to some of the. It does not happen like in Africa, where a president comes and then rubbishes everything the predecessor has done. It is not so. If it were so, you know that it wouldn't have been possible to get Joe Biden sworn in yesterday. So America has overcome this institutional pressure by politically powerful people. And that has always been their message to Africa, that Africa should develop strong institutions and not strong politicians. Why that is happening in America, right down with us in Africa here, is the Yori Museveni question. So I strongly think and believe that going further to the Middle East and those troublesome spots, talking about the Al-Qaeda, talking about the mother of Soleimani last year, he also boasted in his speech, that is Donald J. Trump, that those are part of his achievement to get a relative peace there. But that is the Republican style, But when it comes to warfare, I believe Joe Biden may have to fight some war in that region in the next 4 years, but it wouldn't be as peaceful as a Democrat has handled the situation in the Middle East. Going on to certain agendas that have thrown themselves up, recovery of the economy. Yes, under Donald J. Trump, families recovered, businesses recovered, wages increased, and the economy got robust, much more than what used to be or what used to obtain. And the health policy and the Obamacare and all those, readjustments in some of the approaches. You also remember the wall between America and the Mexicans. And I believe these are challenges that will throw themselves up naturally to Joe Biden, whether he is going to make a detour from the approach as was being handled by his predecessor in office, or whether he is going to tinker with it. But one thing is sure, right from the inauguration arena, they went to work. And they made several appointments, different from what would have obtained if it were in Africa. So that goes to tell much about the institutions and readiness. Despite his age, he is over almost 80, and he is still strong. And he has proved wrong the campaign slogan, or the campaign negatives. Is one of those campaign negatives used by Donald J. Trump. They used to call him the Sleeping Joe. So he has a very energetic vice president who has made history on several fronts. The first female and the first black. She's multiracial, She has multiracial descent. As an African, ancestrology. She also used the Middle East Asian. And one of our sisters is married to an Anambra, a Nigerian citizen here. She has a very robust background, and that will come to bear if not getting also more powerful than would have been usual for a vice president because of the age of Biden. I believe she is going to be on the driving seat also, deputizing the president very well because of the age of the president. She is going to bring life into and feminism too. You know what mothers can do. So, and that also would expose to the world the example by which America has been leading the world, that females should be allowed to, get to their rightful positions. Hillary Clinton dreamt of it, fought for it, but it wasn't beneficial to her. But it's a win for all women. It's a win for Africa. And we can pride ourselves to that one day our own Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala would, if not a shot on the presidency, or something close to that in the near future, as we are hoping, as we are shaping for 2023 down here. Because one of the lessons for us is this: despite the upheavals, America won.
True. So
one wouldn't want to see a repetition of what happened in 2015 or what is to obtain in Nigeria, where people will come up and allow sectional oligarchic interests to prevail in a country that is multicultural, multiracial, multi-tribal, and a country that is that hasn't adopted any religion as state religion. We are two religions here in Nigeria, but none of us are spiritual. So I strongly would recommend that for Nigeria, we should have our lesson notes besides us, and we will examine our lesson notes. We will do peer review mechanisms as against what happened in the US that almost tore the institution of democracy there and eventually couldn't even scratch it much, but it tried. And yet America prevailed as an institution and as a country. If such things had happened here in Africa, just look at the example I told you. Is it al-Bashir, or is it Museveni, or is it Bobia of Cameroon, and all those? Or is it our neighbors in the Benin Republic and Togo? So Nigeria has a lot of lessons to learn from it, and
hopefully we become better as we approach 2023.